So here I want to talk about the question, how do I use my rings most efficiently? So it's a limited resource that you're going to have until you're later in the game. Some guys in my guild and top players, they have hundreds of thousands of rings because they have nothing to spend them on, but most people that's not the case. So I'm going to outline some general priorities and just kind of, this is a loose guideline that I always follow, and hopefully it's helpful to you too. So first has to do with evolution. So let's just go to Berserker. Let's see here, his Libra is going to take 2,000 rings. So if you can evolve your heroes and the rings, the only thing stopping you, don't spend rings on anything else, evolve your heroes, and that will help you really the most. So that's the first thing. The second thing though has to do with kind of threshold skills. And so this is a category that most people don't talk about, but take a look at my Great Sage here. So he goes towards 5 enemies and locks the skills of the 2 farthest for 16 seconds. When you get when his skill's at 19 out of 20, he only hits 4 enemies and he locks the 2 farthest still. But once you get him to 20 of 20, excuse me, he now hits 5 enemies and stuns them as well. And so that is what I mean by a threshold. So if your skill gains an extra functionality, if it hits more heroes, if it stuns them for longer, that is something you're going to want to invest in first. And then I think at level 18 it locks the 2 farthest and also maybe drops down to 1.5 rage. So really getting this up was a priority to me over, say, Ambrosia. So if you look at Ambrosia, her skill, the only thing that really changes over this amount of time is how much rage it costs. And yeah, sure, the damage gets higher and the recovery gets a little higher and everything gets it gets boosted, but that's not as significant as hitting an extra hero, stunning for longer. So the first tier has to do if you're going to hit some special threshold, like Berserker at 20 of 20, he gained 1 second extra on his stun. That's pretty significant. Pounder's a great example of that. I think at level 15, he gains 1 extra second on his stun. Can't show you my Pounder because he's non-existent. I haven't leveled him, but you see his stuns here, 2 seconds. So that's the first threshold. If you can increase how much something stuns by, or how that's something you really want to push for. Now the second thing, of course, to focus on, at least in terms of leveling hero skills, is lowering the rage cost. Oh, I forgot to mention Chiron. He's a great example of this. Once he gets to 18 of 20, he creates 4 clones, so pushing for that makes a lot of sense. As well. So him at 18 of 20 is going to be more give you a better return on your investment than many of the other heroes that you'll actually be able to get. Like Landslide, his just kind of scales. Yeah, it gets a little bit better over time, but it's not a huge game breaker to really get boosted beyond that, besides after the 1 rage. So I'm going to let his sit a little bit longer. Eventually I'll max it, of course, but it's not a priority for me right now. So then, of course, lowering rage costs. You see Ambrosia here, so I'm bringing hers up next. It gets down to 2 rage. I use her skill a lot, so I just want to get that at a lower rage cost. And then I'll work on Enchantress too. Hers is she's still at 3 rage, so I want to get hers probably up to 13 at least. But that's kind of the next thing. So first you have evolution. Second, you have these thresholds for certain characters. Some don't have these thresholds, like Goli doesn't. But others do, like Chiron, Berserker, Great Sage, and some others as well. Pounder, he does. And so I'll talk more about that and I'll illustrate it more clearly in my blog posts that I'll put up. But those are the first ones. Then the second one is lowering the rage cost. Then the third one is definitely Goli Aides. So these his aid skill basically gives them an attack rate boost and gives them 5 extra seconds to live, assuming they don't get stomped or something with Ginny or something, the Ginny. But basically, that's going to be your third level of investment. So you need to get that up a little bit. I just got these to 3 of 7. When the main skill reaches 9, that will be the next one. So I'll be pushing for that once I get my main heroes to these to the rage tier at least. And then after that, of course, you'll be focusing on hero aids. So you want to kind of do those, and it's almost best just to do 1 hero aid. This you see here, once you get his main skill up, of course, it gives you an extra boost. So that's going to be what you want to focus on next. And then lastly will probably be your battle royale aids. So you'll kind of focus on all these different tiers, But that's my general strategy for how I invest rings. So evolution first, then these special tiered heroes. I'll mention that in my blog post and list each one specifically and the cutoffs that are good to reach. And then the third one is lowering the rage cost. Then the fourth one has to do with your Goli Aides, and the fifth one has to do with leveling your other hero aids. And also, and then almost lowest is finishing off your main heroes, because if you get a hero aid boosted up in his skill, like this fella here, Ginny, I mean, that it gives you a significant boost in crit rate and crit damage. I think it might be 5% and 15% in those, and gives you an extra additional 30 fury. So that's going to be huge. That's going to give you a much bigger bonus than, say, topping off Ambrosia's skill from 18 to 20 once you get it there. Just really, it's not that big of a difference. Eventually, of course, you want to max it if you're using Ambrosia. So that's how I use rings, and hopefully, like I said, that helps you. So good luck in your investment of rings.